Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming out today. We are here in the atrium of City Hall to recognize and present a proclamation on behalf of the City of Harrisburg to honor Harrisburg's march against social justice, injustice, and gun violence. I'd like to read the proclamation, and then I'd like to let its organizers say a few words, and we are pleased to be joined by a number of younger members of the public. So thank you guys for all being here. First, the proclamation. And I'm going to take my mask off just to read it so that you can actually hear me enunciate it properly. Whereas All You Can Incorporated and Be a Man Incorporated organized the Harrisburg March Against Social Injustice and Gun Violence on June 3rd, 2020, to bring awareness to racial inequality, and whereas the Harrisburg March Against Social Injustice and Gun Violence established a stronger connection between the political administration and citizens for the betterment and fair treatment of all races everywhere. And whereas all lives share equal value regardless of race, color, or creed, as we are one humanity that deserves the equal pursuit of liberty and justice for all, thus solidifying all humans are created equal and deserve to be treated as such. And whereas with our variety of differences, we must educate each other and embrace the beauty of those very differences. And whereas the compassion for our future generations makes it imperative that we teach carry on the tradition of this initiative. And whereas social injustice and gun violence can dismantle a community, it is understood that love, collaboration, and education can rebuild it. And whereas All You Can Incorporated and Be a Man Incorporated invites all of mankind to join them in their fight against social injustice and gun violence and towards a world of equality and compassion. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Eric Papenfuse, do hereby declare that June 3rd, 2020 is Harrisburg's March Against Social Injustice and Gun Violence Day forevermore in the city of Harrisburg. Thank you. And I want to congratulate both Ralph Rodriguez and Gary Follings, as well as all of those who are members of All You Can Incorporated, for putting this event together. And before I let them say a few words, I would just like to say that this event was historic. And it was historic in part because it brought together all of the levels of government in this capital city, not just the local, municipal level, but also the state level. And to march and to walk alongside our governor carrying a Black Lives Matter placard, and along with Ralph and Gary and others, and then to convene in an engaged and intelligent conversation about reforms that are needed for Harrisburg was absolutely one of the highlights of the past year for myself in Harrisburg, and it is going to lead to real changes you'll see as we move forward with reforms on the city council level and reforms in our budgeting process for next year. So congratulations to all those who put that event together. I want to present each of you with your own copy of the proclamation, Ralph and Gary, and I'd like to let you say a few words. I will return my mask. You may take yours off to speak if you wish, but go ahead, Ralph, and I will take your place.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the wonderful city of Harrisburg. I'd like to thank my family, Be a Man Inc. family, for being here today. I just wanted to say June 3rd really set a precedent in my life, as well as the city, in accomplishing a feat that a lot of us thought could never be accomplished. For the governor, for our mayor, our police commissioner, for the first time in history, and I know definitely in our country, to march alongside of activists and community advocates for change and reform was immaculate and amazing for the city. I just hope the conversation will continue, and every year, June 3rd, we convene again and continue the fight, not just for June 3rd, but all throughout the rest of the year. And if you will, come back as a report on June 3rd to discuss and relive and celebrate the day that was the march against social injustice and gun violence. I couldn't have done it without Gary, Mr. Fallins and his team at Be a Man, Inc., with the wonderful city and community advocates that we had to help us, just times of discussion and opinions that went a long way. So for those that assisted along the way, all the speakers that spoke to provide solutions to the very reasons why we wanted to march in the first place, and the continuing generations, as you see here in front of us today, that will carry on this message and make sure that the city of Harrisburg celebrates this way beyond my life, their life, and their children's lives. So let's celebrate this day. It's our day, a day for the people, a day for the city, and a day of remembrance of what we've done, where we've come from, and what we will do. This is just the beginning. As the mayor said, there'll be many more great things to come. The governor went right into action the next day, specifically quoting, because of what he saw in Harrisburg take place on the 3rd, is one of the reasons why he wanted to, amongst others, but one of the main reasons he wanted to take action. So I thank you all. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. To the city of Harrisburg, really appreciate the proclamation. It shows not only that we made history, but we're willing to acknowledge the continuance of making history and to really leave our mark. So I thank you all, and I look forward to the positive fight to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Mayor Papenfuse. Thank you, Ralph Rodriguez, and all you can. Thank you to the city of Harrisburg. And thank you for all those men who played a part in my life, who made me the man I am today. Someone who cares about the community, someone who cares about the children, someone who is willing to step up and make a difference. I think the biggest thing that we can take away from June 3rd is that groups of people came together. They didn't know each other. They were different colors. They're from different areas. But they came together for one cause, a successful cause, a day that will always be remembered. As Mayor Papenfuse stated, it was history. We want this day to be remembered, but most importantly, we want that passion to continue to dwell, to live on, not just in Ralph and Eric Papenfuse and these young children up here, but in the city of Harrisburg. For us to have social impact and make a big difference and save some lives. Thank you again, Mayor Papenfuse. Thank you, Ralph Rodriguez, and all you can. And thank you to the city of Harrisburg and for all those people who played a major part in my life to make me who I am. Thank you.
And thank you, Gary. And indeed, June 3rd will live on, and it is our challenge and our legacy to carry out what began on that day through a series of changes that will continue on into the future to benefit everyone. So thank you all for coming, and we appreciate your time and all of the effort and energy that went into organizing this historic event in the city of Harrisburg.